we formed this organization, American Pakistani Political Action Committee, like 6 years ago, just based on AIPAC, American Israeli Political Action Committee. And Israeli, they formed the same PAC in 1963. And now we can imagine how organized, where are they? So we hired the same attorney, same law firm, and then we formed this PAC, where the Pakistani community have a leading point, they be leaders. So, we are born leaders, we are adventurers, we can make a difference. When this incident happened in Jaranwala, that the houses and schools and burned down by a mob, and what we want to do is we want to do a fundraising and at least raise $50,000, and then we go ahead and provide them those funds to those families and build their houses or schools or whatever we can do. Actually, one of the legislators in New York State, he talked to us that I heard what's happened in Pakistan is very sad. So we told him we are so much concerned, and what we want to do is we want to do a fundraising and at least raise $50,000, and then we go ahead and provide them those funds to those families and build their houses or schools or whatever we can do.
Hello and welcome to New Wave Global. I am joined by Mr. Nadeem Akhtar from Dallas, Texas, who is the head of the Texas chapter of American Pakistani Political Action Committee. And I have known Mr. Akhtar for many years now, but recently I found out that the organization has been raising funds to help Pakistani Christians who were targeted in Jaranwala in Faisalabad division in Pakistan. There were terrible massacres and burning of churches that took place in August. And it is really commendable that they have joined hands and are going to help Pakistani Christians. So welcome, Nadeem Saab. Please tell us about the activities that your group has been active around the issues of Christian community in Pakistan.
Thank you very much, Raza Saab, for having me from great state of Texas. And I'm here in Dallas based since 35 years. And we formed this organization, American Pakistani Political Action Committee, like 6 years ago, just based on AIPAC, American Israeli Political Action Committee, and then same as Indian, they formed the same PAC. So we decided, like Israeli, they formed the same PAC in 1963. And now we can imagine how organized, where are they? So we hired the same attorney, same law firm, and then we formed this PAC, where the Pakistani community have a leading point, they be leaders. So, we are born leaders, we are adventurers, we can make a difference. So when this incident happened in Jaranwala, that the houses and schools and burned down by a mob in Jaranwala, close to the Faisalabad district. And we were talking to actually one of the legislators in New York State. He talked to us that I heard what's happened in Pakistan is very sad. So he's a deputy speaker of state of Texas, Mr. Phil Raman. So we told him we are so much concerned, and what we want to do is we want to do a fundraising and at least raise $50,000, and then we go ahead and provide them those funds to those families and build their houses or schools or whatever we can do. And he was so kind enough. He said, "I want to join you guys for this cause, and this is great. You realized it." And he was thinking that we did not care, but we really care about the minorities and Christian in Pakistan or any other minorities in Pakistan. So we raised about $50,000, and Deputy Speaker Phil Raymond, he said, "I will go with you guys, and I want to meet them, and then we go ahead and distribute." and he wants to meet our leadership and all those people in Pakistan. And his point was that person to person contact between two countries make a lot of difference instead of you meeting on top leadership and stuff, you know.
Yes,
So he
absolutely.
yes.
One of the missing elements in this relationship, is that a lot of Americans, because I mean, for a variety of reasons, the people-to-people contact is not strong. I mean, the diaspora goes back, Nadeem Saab, but the American officials or opinion makers or policy makers, their visits are very limited, and unfortunately, it's a very important relationship. But this act of, I think it's really generous and really timely as well, because our marginalized Christian brothers and sisters, they need support. I mean, money is important, but also the fact that somebody cares for them. So how are you going to distribute this money? Is it going to go to a local charity or a number of charities or individual families? What?
We Raza Sahab, we have contacted the local bishop over there and the churches,
Mm-hmm.
and then we asked them to identify at least 50 families, so which were they were more affected. So what we're trying to do is we're going to give at least $1,000 to each family directly, and whatever when we before those group is come in, I myself is going to Jaranwala, and then we will make an assessment. Should we give them a cash, or we should go ahead and build the houses or something by ourselves, you know. So we want to do it directly, and plus you was very kind enough to connect me with some officials in Pakistan, so we will be talking to them also if they can help us to how we can distribute these funds. And Deputy Speaker of State of Texas, you know, Phil Raymond, he said I really personally wants to meet those families also. So we are thinking to travel if the security and all this they let us go. Otherwise, we will invite them to Faisalabad or Lahore, and then we meet all these families and tell
Right.
them we are standing with you.
Right, exactly. I think it's a very strong gesture. Often in the mainstream day-to-day rush of politics and what is happening in Islamabad, we forget about these groups who really are deserving and need our support. And so, how long will this trip be with your deputy speaker?
Actually, it's a 5 day trip. We be 2 days in Lahore with the
Mhm.
Christian community, and then we going to Islamabad, and we are going to meet the Prime Minister and some other department. He also wants to meet some legislators because there's three legislators going with us, and he wants to promise them that he can help them to start a trade instead of we borrowing money and all this $1 billion, $2 billion we need. You know, if we have some relaxation on the trade with the USA, even with the state of New York, you know, which is, you know, the largest economy, you know, in the world, you know.
Yes.
So that could easily bring us $5-6 billion every year. So just to relax on the trade. And plus, he wants to do some cultural event. He wants to learn about our culture. And then at Shakarpadiya, I guess they are arranging some cultural event, you know. That's where he will directly meet to the Pakistani pupils. And then he is promising that more legislators on the state level will start going to Pakistan and get to know each other. And then we will take US congressmen and senators also. So to build a relationship between two countries on the trade and the cultural side, people to people.
Right, that is wonderful. And when you were planning this trip, were the legislators and deputy speaker concerned about quote unquote security situation?
Yeah.
Usually,
Yeah, that was a actually concern right now. The U.S. State Department, they are taking care of some security things, but they are very brave people. They said this is, I mean, provide us some security, but we really want to go. You know, we
right.
cannot ignore you on the security. He also wants to visit Sindh, and there's actually legislation is passing in state of New York Assembly to make Karachi and New York sister cities. So since
Oh,
yes, sir, and since the Sindh is not in session, the assembly, But he said, at least I'm going to take a letter and give it to the governor that we are ready to do this one. And when you in session, then I will come back, and then we will pass a legislation in Sindh Assembly to make these both countries sister cities, both cities to sister cities. So that's
Right.
another our goal. So we're gonna stay 1.5 day in Karachi also, and he wants to see the Karachi, and one of the state senator going with us, and his chief of staff is also going with us.
Right, right. So that is a wonderful initiative, and I hope you continue such important, interventions, because the role of diaspora is so important. So many other communities here in the U.S. and other parts of Western Hemisphere, they're always connected, and they, support. I just want to tell the viewers that, for the context, that in August 16th of this year, dozens of Christian families fled mob attacks in Jaranwala. There were some allegations of blasphemy, which are usually used to target minority groups, and thereafter many homes were burnt. Numerous churches were also attacked. Police did arrest people, I think 38 or so, but many of them have been released. From by the police, and now a minority activist has contacted the Supreme Court of Pakistan to take up this petition. And the Chief Justice, I'm sure, because when he was a Supreme Court judge, he visited Jharamala, and we hope that he takes up this issue and brings justice to these families. Your support, our support is important, but at the end of the day, it is the Pakistani police and the criminal justice system which must prevent such events from occurring. So, Nadeem Saab, thank you so much for joining me. And once you're back, we will reconnect, and we will talk about your experiences there, what you saw, whom you met, and how was this delegation received. But thank you for doing this.
I appreciate Raza Rumi for your time. You have a
Thank you
good
so
morning, sir.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.